Derek had always been haunted by the same nightmare. It was never different. He would find himself standing in front of an old house, its wooden walls worn out, its windows dark and hollow. Inside, a young woman with long black hair and piercing eyes would be waiting for him. "James," she would whisper in a soft, longing voice. "I have been waiting for you." But Derek wasn't James. He had never known anyone named James. Yet, every time he woke up from that dream, his heart pounded, and his hands trembled, as if he was forgetting something important. One weekend, Derek's best friend, Aidan, invited him to visit his grandmother's house in the countryside. "It's peaceful there, man. You need a break," Aidan had said. Derek agreed, hoping the change of scenery might help with his sleepless nights. The moment they arrived, Derek felt like the air had been knocked out of his chest. The house, it was the same one from his nightmares. The wooden porch, the large oak tree outside, even the sound of the wind whistling through the cracks, it was all exactly as he had seen it in his dreams. Inside, the house smelled of old books and lavender. Aidan's grandmother, a kind elderly woman with silver hair and warm eyes, welcomed them with a smile. But Derek's eyes were drawn to something else, the portrait in the hallway. It was her, the same beautiful woman from his dreams. Her eyes seemed to stare right into his soul. His throat went dry. "Aidan, who is she?" Aidan glanced at the portrait and shrugged. "No clue. Granny says it belonged to the previous owners. We never asked." Derek turned to Aidan's grandmother. "Do you know who she is?" The old woman smiled, but there was something strange in her expression. Something unreadable. She simply patted Derek's hand and walked away, humming a tune that felt oddly familiar. That night, Derek couldn't stop thinking about the portrait, about the house, about her. In the middle of the night, Derek woke up with a jolt. His body was covered in sweat, and his heart pounded against his ribs. Something felt wrong. Then, he heard it. A voice. Her voice. "James." It was soft, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. But it was enough to make his blood run cold. Slowly, as if pulled by an unseen force, Derek climbed out of bed and walked downstairs. The house was eerily silent. The wooden floor creaked under his steps. And then, in the dim light of the hallway, he saw her. She was standing beneath the portrait, wearing the same flowing dress as in his dreams. Her deep, dark eyes held a sadness so heavy that Derek felt it in his own chest. His breath hitched. Who are you?" She smiled gently. "You know me, James." His head throbbed. "I'm not James. My name is Derek." The woman, Isabella, shook her head. "You have forgotten. But I never did. I have waited for you." Derek's hands trembled. "What are you talking about?" She stepped closer, her cool fingers brushing against his skin. "Look into my eyes, and you will remember." The moment their eyes met, something snapped inside him. A flood of images filled his mind. Memories that weren't his, yet felt more real than his own life. He saw himself, as James. A vampire, strong and powerful. He saw Isabella, his Isabella. He had saved her when she had no one. He had loved her, and she had loved him. He had turned her into a vampire so they could be together forever. But forever had been stolen from them. He remembered the night when the villagers came. How they had suspected the truth. How they had waited until Isabella wasn't home before breaking in. They had attacked him with silver, watching as his skin burned. And when he was weak, they drove a silver stake through his heart. Before his last breath, he had whispered a promise. "I will come back to you." And now, he had. Tears welled in Isabella's eyes. "You are mine, James. And I am yours." A strange sense of peace settled over Derek. No, James. He had spent years feeling lost, haunted by dreams he didn't understand. But now, everything made sense. "I want to be with you," he whispered. "Turn me." A slow, knowing smile spread across Isabella's lips. She pulled him close, and as her fangs sank into his neck, Derek was no more. The next morning, Aiden knocked on Derek's bedroom door. Hey, man, wake up. Granny made breakfast. Silence. Frowning. Aiden opened the door. The bed was empty, perfectly made, as if Derek had never slept in it. Confused, Aiden searched the entire house, but Derek was nowhere to be found. Even stranger. The portrait in the hallway was gone. His grandmother stood in the doorway, watching him with a mysterious smile. Where's Derek? Aiden asked, his voice laced with worry. The old woman simply sighed. He finally found what he was looking for. And outside, just as the morning sun began to rise, a shadow disappeared into the woods. Two figures, walking hand in hand, fading into the mist. Derek was gone. James had returned.
If you like this video, subscribe our channel.